All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining me for part 3 of the Weight Loss Done Right series masterclass. All the things. Hi, Judith. Hi, Sue. Good to see you again. My girl, Jamie. Good to see you. Hi, MK. Um, Sounds like it's raining there. No, unfortunately, it is the fan on my computer because I have been on it all day. Thanks for telling me that. Um, yeah, the fan on my computer is working, and unfortunately, my microphone is not working. So thanks for letting me know that, Barb. I apologize. I know the sound is not all that fabulous, but yeah, no, it's the sound on my computer, which is too bad. But oh well, it's what we got to do. All right. So great to see everyone. Close that up. Oh, come on. These are popped. These are popping all over my screen. All right. Hey, Maureen. Hi, Gloria. Jane's back. Good deal. Hi, Billy. Hi, Phyllis. Hi, Anne. Hi, Lori. Gosh, all my regs, all the families here. All right. So thank you so much again for joining me for part 3 of Weight Loss Done Right. And today I am titling this session Putting It All Together. So putting it all together. So this is part 3 of our 3-day extravaganza. Hi, Dawn. Good to see you. So we're going to kind of just talk about putting what we talked about in day number 1, day number 2, and putting it all together and just making it one big little happy family. So hi, Second Dawn. Hi, Robin. Hi, Denise. Good to see you. So, as I told you before, I've told you on all 3 of the days, or every day, the last 2 days, that if you have something to write with, pencil, paper, you want to have it. There are definitely going to be some notes to take, and there's definitely an objective for what we are going to be doing. So, I am going to right now just change my positioning on my screen so I can make sure that I can see you all. And so that is what we are going to be hitting today. So there are goals for today's presentation. Goal for today's presentation is to show you how you must start by looking at your commitment to yourself before any kind of change, and specifically what we're talking about, weight loss and emotional eating and kind of changing our patterns of thinking. We have to first start off by looking at our commitment to ourselves before any change can happen. We have to talk about our commitment to ourselves before that can happen. Second thing is you're going to learn about how changing habits is not enough, but that changing who you are is the key to losing weight and to making any kind of significant change in your life. Third thing, we're going to talk about how important, and it's not even important, it's essential. Your belief in yourself and how you feel about yourself is absolutely paramount to making any change in your life. That we can do all these things on the outside, but if we don't absolutely with 100% certainty believe in ourselves, that change may happen, but it's going to completely implode because we don't have a firm foundation. We are building a house and a life on very, very unstable ground. We have to make that really stable. And lastly, how to get started losing weight using all of the tools that we've talked about over the last few days. So let's start like we did yesterday. We're going to start off with a little review of yesterday's class. So in the comments, because if you were here yesterday, I don't do the review. You all are going to do the review. So I want you to share in the comments takeaways or Oprah's aha moments that you had from our class yesterday on the practical side, the kind of practical side of weight loss. So in the comments, I want you to just put what was something that really stood out to you as something that was really important that we talked about. Oh, okay. It's not humming anymore. I just want to let you guys know. my microphone's not humming anymore. Oh yes, thank you, Kathy, for the good luck with good luck with Jackson's procedure. It's a big day tomorrow in our house. All right, so if you can put it in the comments, if you can put in what it was a takeaway from yesterday when it came to that practical side of weight loss, what were some of the things that stood out to you as being things that you remembered that you want to take away and that you want to move forward with? Love it. No more Last Suppers. Absolutely. Kathy wrote, eat pizza crust first. Eat like babies. Stop punishing yourself. Listen to the second thought and throw away the first thought. Ooh, that was good, Patricia. Leave 2 bites on your plate. Eat the best first. That's right, Barb. Set aside half. Eat foods as you love. Slow down and take the food in slowly. Divide your plate in half. No food is off limits. Leave 3 bites. Oh, so good. Eating till hints about eating till satisfied. Eat foods that you really enjoy. Be present when eating. Slow down. No snacking before meals. We need to look at babies to learn how to eat. Exactly. Telling my brain it's okay. If you're not happy, it's okay if you're not happy. Absolutely. Good. Divide your plate. Love that. Eat the middle of the donut or the cinnamon roll, the pecan roll, or whatever you want to say. Yeah, absolutely. We always want to eat the good stuff first. Oh, wonderful. That's awesome. That's awesome. And again, listening to that second thought, don't put labels on foods. Thank you, Carol. That's so good. We don't want to put labels on foods because when we label foods, then we label ourselves, and then we give ourselves we make ourselves who we are, what we eat, and that's not relevant. It has no place in how we view ourselves. Awesome. Very, very good. Okay, so that is amazing. So going back, so here, part number 1, what we're going to talk about first is it's all about you. That's the title of the first section. The first section is it's all about you. So whenever you are looking to make changes in your life, ultimately, it's going to come down to how badly you want to change. How badly you want to change. And sometimes we have to get to that place where we are so uncomfortable that the pain that we might, or the discomfort that we might come in contact with is better than the discomfort we're in currently. That we have to kind of, make that kind of that decision. Most people who want to lose weight will automatically say, well, of course I want to lose weight so bad. I'll do anything to make it happen. But in reality, when it gets down to being uncomfortable, we always have to remember that primal brain is going to come in. And when you are uncomfortable, it's going to tell you, oh, you really need that brownie to get through. It's okay. You don't really need to lose that weight, because you're not happy right now, and I don't want you unhappy. So we have to remember that our brain is going to come in and it's going to tell us that we don't need to do this, tomorrow. It can happen tomorrow. It can happen next week. The cool thing is that now all of you know that voice that comes in, that thought that comes in, you get to choose whether that thought stays or whether you push it aside. And remember, we push thoughts aside. We don't push feelings aside, but we do push thoughts aside, because if thoughts don't serve our lives and they don't move us forward, then we get to choose whether or not we want them to be around. So I hope that as you're listening to me saying that you feel empowered, that you get to now you have this information. You have this information that most people don't have. They don't know that they get to say no to that voice. That your commitment gets to come from you and how much you care about yourself. So you get to decide, do I want to push that thought away? Or do I want to let it be here and then give up on myself or give in? So the other piece is, I hear a lot of people say, well, you know what? I'll try that. I'll try to do this. There is a huge difference in a commitment when you say, I'm going to try to do something, or I am going to do it and I am going to be successful. There is a huge, huge difference. I don't want the vet tomorrow who's going to be neutering Jackson to be like, you know what, I'm going to try to neuter this dog. I'm going to try to find, too much information right now, but his undescended testicle, I'm going to try to find it. We'll try. Miss Jones, as we're taking care of your dog, and we're going to try to find it. No, no, no. No, you are going to. You are going to do it. You're going to do it, and you're going to come through with it, and you're going to find it, and my dog is going to be awesome. So there's a difference between trying and doing. In the wise words of Yoda from Star Wars, do or do not. There is no try. You either do it or you don't. We don't try. We do it or we don't do it. And you are important enough that when you say you're going to do it, you're going to do it. That's the commitment, and that's the integrity that you have to have with yourself. So here are some questions to ask yourself. Here are some questions to ask yourself. Is your reason for wanting to lose weight or manage your emotional eating, are your reasons, and there should be more than one reason, are your reasons compelling enough that they will keep you from overeating? Are your reasons compelling enough? Are they important enough to you? Secondly, can you live, and are you willing to live without the escape or the distraction that food provides you? Are you willing to live without the escape or the distraction that food provides you? And lastly, are you willing to feel discomfort? Are you willing to feel uncomfortable? Because this will be uncomfortable. Always. Any change is uncomfortable in order to get your end result. Are you willing to feel discomfort in order to get your end result? Those are questions that no one can answer. No one can answer for you. You have to look inside and you have to answer them yourself. So here is my suggestion. Here's my suggestion for what you can do as soon as we get off this call, what you can do. I want you to make a list of your whys, and I make that plural, for losing weight, and come up with between 10 to 15 whys. Why do you want to do this? And the reason why is every day is different. Every day you're going to wake up and you're going to feel differently about your life, about the way things are going. There's just going to be lots of different things that are going to happen and lots of different emotions that you're going to go through. And what's important to you and a why one day is not going to matter a hill of beans to you on another day. You've got to have that another why that you can pull from, okay, this is my reason now. Because sometimes being healthy or avoiding a disease, that's not really going to matter. And then there's other days it's going to be so important. So you have to have a number of different whys to match what you're going through on different days, because we are never the same every day. We are always constantly evolving and moving and changing. That's what it means to be a human being. Always evolving and changing. So you need to have this arsenal of whys to get you through those days when things just are a little bit more challenging. So that is my suggestion. That is what I want you to do. That's your homework assignment for today, is to come up with what are your whys, because that is your commitment. That is your commitment to yourself. Your whys, and then we don't try. We do or we don't do. And that doesn't mean if we're not successful the first time that we give up. We always know when we do or we don't do. And when we choose to do, we do it and we finish it out. We don't quit on ourselves. Okay? All right. Questions. Anybody have any questions that you want to put up? Yes, Yoda's awesome. Yoda is amazing. Yes. So again, do or don't do. So any questions about that, about the whys? I always suggest, and we were just in the membership, we were just having our weekly membership call, and we were talking about kind of putting your whys on little pieces of paper and having them, and sometimes you can randomly pick like which why you want to go with today, and you can have them in a little bowl, and every morning you pick a different why, and it's like, this is my why for today. This is what's going to drive me today. And or you can look at your whys and be like, okay, where is my motivation today? Where can I pull from this today? How do I keep myself moving forward? Because motivation and commitment can only happen from inside. It can only happen with us. Okay? All right. Section part number 2. Oh, what was the second question? Oh, am I willing to live without, thank you, Jane. Am I willing to live without the escape or distraction that food provides? Are you willing to live with, are you willing to live without the escape? Because when we don't have food to escape to, we got to feel those feelings. We've got to deal with those emotions. Let's see. Not sure I should say this, but I'm going on anxiety medication has also helped me. How do you feel about this? Eva, I guess my question would be, what is the anxiety medication? I don't have any issue with medication if people feel like, I think even knowing you well enough and seeing your comments and seeing how much you've been working, I would say, and I know you're doing a lot of thought work. I mean, you're walking the walk right now. And so if you feel like that would help, and that would give you peace of mind, and that would help alleviate any sort of anxiety, I'm all for that. I'm all for anybody taking care of themselves. But I don't believe in medication as being the answer. I hope that makes sense. That medication solely is the answer. Just as a little a side note, on our membership call, we talked with one of our members who hadn't been around in a while, and we're super happy that she was here, and she joined us for a call, and we started working together almost a year ago, and in August she had bariatric surgery, and she's lost almost 80 pounds. And she did all the work front load. She front loaded. She did all sorts of work on her thoughts, on her beliefs, on her feelings about herself, and then had her surgery. And so she realized that bariatric surgery alone that's a tool. It's not the answer. And so Eva, I say, in your medication, absolutely, if you feel like it's going to help you, and it incorporates all the things that you're learning and that you're doing, I think it's important. I think if it's, and as Denise says, if it's going to help you, 100%. I mean, I say everybody needs to do what's right for them, and that's just life in general. Everybody needs to do what's right for them. All right. So absolutely, Carol, I totally agree with that as well. All right, back to part number 2. Okay, so part 2 is looking at who you want to become. Who do you want to become? And this is going to go in a direction that you all are going to be like, I don't know where direction she's going in with this and how this relates to weight loss, but oh, it does. So the key to the part 2 is titled Who You Want to Become. Who you want to become. So the key to behavior change, and this is behavior change in any venue, any area. In this case, we're going to talk about weight loss. We're going to talk about managing emotional eating. The key to behavior change is not necessarily focusing exclusively or first on just establishing habits. A lot of research has been done. For those of you if you've read James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, so that's James Clear, he's the author. The book is called Atomic Habits. It is amazing. And he talks about how too often we go about behavior change in the wrong order. And so we look at behaviors first. And it's not that we shouldn't look at behaviors, but or behaviors, meaning habits. We look at habits first. And what we really want to look at with habits is, who do we want to become? What is the identity that we want to take on? Because the identity of who we want to become is going to be much more deeply ingrained in us. And that's going to make following habits so much easier. It's going to be so much more authentic, and it's going to be so much more of a routine for you, because now you're not just working on a habit, you're encompassing and becoming that person who leaves food on their plate, who eats only when they're hungry, who doesn't react to an emotional situation by turning to food. You want to become the person in your identity that is that person. Okay? So it's a little bit different. You want to focus on identity-based habits. Identity-based habits. And that really is the key. You focus on who you want to become and not necessarily what you want to achieve. Because by becoming the person who only eats when they're hungry, stops when they're satisfied, doesn't respond to emotional outbursts by eating food, but instead by processing feelings and addressing them, that person has the habits that they need in order to support them being that person, and then you get the result that you want. So there are two steps to doing this. And the first one is, you have to decide, who do you want to become? And then the second thing you have to do is, you have to prove to yourself that you are becoming that person by creating small wins for yourself, small successes, very, very small successes. So the small wins are the habits that help you show yourself proof that you are becoming the person who loses all their weight, who keeps their weight off, who makes the choices that are best for them. That's where we want to focus on. So and your identity emerges out of those habits, and it's like a self-improvement feedback loop. The more you repeat a behavior, the more you reinforce your identity. So we need to kind of get clear. Who do we want to be? Who do we want to become? So for me, and I will use myself as an example. One of the things that I started when I was very, very young, I was probably 16. And I was 16 years old, and I started running. And I would run around the block at my house, and then sometimes I'd go outside the neighborhood, and I became a person who exercised. And I became a person who exercised every day. And then I, decided that I really enjoyed it. So it became a career choice for me. I started teaching classes. I started, working in health clubs. I started, making that a part of who I was. And so for me now, I started when I was 18 years old. And for me now, going on, 35 years later, that is who I am. That's my identity. My identity is somebody who exercises every day, because I truly love it. It truly makes me feel good. And when I don't do it, it doesn't feel like me. And so that's something that just has naturally over time occurred. And that is my identity. I am a person who's active and likes to be outside and likes to do stuff and likes to physically move her body. So to me, like that's an easy one. That one is an easy one. There are other things that aren't as natural because they're not part of my identity. But, and I will say, one of the things that I have tried that I am in the process of developing an identity of is being a business owner. That is not, I have always been an employee. I've always worked for somebody else. And now I'm the boss. Now I'm the one in charge. So I have to now think, What would the boss do? What would the person who runs a business do? Would they do this, this, and this, and this? And would they not pay attention to what's going on? Or would they do something else? So I really have to start thinking now my identity, and I've been in the process of doing this for over the last 5 years. I have tried to develop that identity, that other part of my identity. My identity isn't solely somebody who just exercises, but my identity now is I want to identify and be that business owner, be that successful business owner who helps people and provides a service for people. So, but it takes time, and it takes you really getting into who is it that I want to become, and then how do I prove to myself that I am that person. And so the little proofs that I have is I have started, I have a bookkeeper. I have a bookkeeper. If I hired somebody to help me with that, I have, I have a business coach. I have, a mastermind that I'm in. I mean, I have all these things that I'm doing, these little tiny little wins, just to prove to myself that that's the identity that I have created for myself. So the same thing goes for all of you. Who do you want to become? What is the identity? Do you want to be the person who just loses weight? Or do you want to be the person who changes their life, not just to lose weight, but you want to start thinking in a different way. You want to start believing in yourself in a different way. You want to start having faith in yourself. You want to trust yourself. You want to believe that there's nothing you can't accomplish. That's how we want to start thinking, and that's how we want to start thinking about ourselves. So that, and I can't even begin to tell you how important that is when it comes to any behavior change, but most definitely when it comes to losing weight and keeping it off, this piece has to happen. Has to happen. You have to be that person. You have to become that person that you wish to become. And again, it's in those moments when the cookie is calling you, the kitchen's calling you, you have to ask yourself, what would a person who loses all of her weight and keeps it off, what would she do right now? How would she respond? What would she say? What would she say to herself? And then act accordingly to that. Okay? So you start by focusing on what you want to become and not necessarily what you want to achieve. It will come as you become that person. Okay? So again, we're focusing on who do we want to become? Who's the person that we want to become? What's the identity? Identity-based habits, those habits are those little small wins that reinforce and prove to us that we're becoming that person. And that is when we're able to then fully embrace everything that we're doing. It sounds so far removed from anything you talk about when it comes to weight loss, but it is absolutely 100% so important. All right, questiones. Let's see. Anyone have... let's see. Yep. Absolutely. And Denise, I know that has been a huge change for you in a sense of the shift of, again, the shift of thoughts, the shift of belief, the shift of how you feel about yourself. 100%. That's so amazing. So amazing. All right. Any questions right now? Any questions? And actually, absolutely. Small wins or big wins. So you can have multiple identities. Absolutely, Robin. 100%. You can have multiple identities. Your identity is because Robin, you're a mom, but you're not only a mom. Mom is one of your identities, but you're not only a mom. Absolutely. Like I can identify, like for me, like I don't have children, but where's my child? Oh, he's in the other room. He's probably sleeping in my bed. But I've had to take on the identity of a dog mom. And I have to really and I have to think all the time, what would a dog mom do? I mean, this has been an incredible shift for me, because now it's like I can't just think about myself now. I have to think about. So yes, your identity, absolutely, you can have multiple identities. You identify as that person. Is our identity we want to have the same as our goal? No, because your goal is what you're going to achieve. Remember that you focus on who you want to become and not necessarily what you want to achieve, because when you become that person, the habits will just be, they will become a part of what you do. So they're not even an effort. They're not even like, you don't even have to like, oh, I got to do this. It's because this is who you become. And so it becomes the goal gets much easier to work. Your goal becomes more achievable because you're acting as the person, and then those habits just become more natural. So your goal and your identity are different. Yeah. How do you handle this when the stress of have the stress of others in your life? Carol, that honestly comes right back to boundaries and what is and finding that balance of what is important to what do you need to do to take care of yourself while you still are maintaining the responsibilities that you have in your life, and are you taking on responsibilities that aren't necessarily yours to take on? We always have to be aware of what we take on and what we're taking on for ourselves. We do have responsibilities, absolutely, but we also have a responsibility to ourselves, because if we have stresses of others in our lives and we're taking care of them, we can't take care of them unless we take care of ourselves at the same time. And sometimes that requires asking for help. And not being the sole person, the sole person who's just going to trudge through. You gotta look for help as well. Okay. Oh, Eva, that's so sweet. Thank you. All right, let's hit back. I don't want to. Oh, we're good timing here. Okay. Part number 3. You only have you. Part number 3. You only have you. We always have to remember, when it's all said and done, we're all, 100 years old. The only person that you can ever truly count on, rely on, and believe in is you. That's it. That's it. Everything outside of you is always up for change. Nothing is permanent in our lives, except that we always have ourselves. People will come and go. It's the natural process of life. We only have ourselves. And we have to believe in ourselves. So if me saying that and that thought scares the heck out of you, I'm going to ask you to really listen up. Because if your relationship with yourself is less than loving, kind, thoughtful, and adoring, you have some work to do. And most of us always have some work to do, because we're never consistently always going to absolutely be our biggest raving fan. We need to be, but not always going to happen. So we always have to be working on that. How does that relate to weight loss? How does believing in yourself, how is having that trust and that faith in yourself, how does that help you lose weight? I will tell you, if you don't have that weight loss is going to be absolutely fleeting. It's not going to be stable. It's not going to stick around, because it always comes down to, you have to have the foundation in order to build a house. If you build a house on a rocky foundation, it is not going to withstand the earthquakes of life. Because as all of you know, every single person who's listening to this, if you're watching it on replay, you're watching it live, every single one of you knows life is anything but consistent and linear and always smooth. In fact, more often than not, it is absolutely off the charts rocky. And we have to remember that, once again, the only person we have for ourselves is us. And so if you don't have that absolute belief in yourself, all of those things are going to be up in the air. Because life is going to come in, it's going to make things complicated. And if you don't have that belief and that commitment to yourself and that strong relationship with yourself, things are going to distract you, things are going to pull you off, and you're going to forget who you are. And that weight loss and that weight loss goal and that maintenance is going to go right out the window. That is why that cycle happens of people losing, changing their lives significantly, losing all of their weight, and then they go back to their lives and their lives get hectic and they have no way of managing how they feel about themselves. Because ultimately, as I say, and I said this on the first day, and feel like I say it practically every day in the group. If we don't feel good about ourselves, we don't make good decisions. If you don't have a strong belief in yourself and you start feeling doubtful and you start feeling scared and you start feeling like you don't think you can do it, then you can't do it. And you are going to either sabotage yourself or you're just going to feel so bad that you need to turn to whatever is going to make you feel better. And for all of us here in this group or anybody who's listening, most likely that's going to be food. That's where for some people I know, you may be thinking, oh my God, like she is so like going off in all these woo-woo directions. And I am, because this is what people aren't talking about. Again, it's not a mathematical, like we talked about yesterday, it's not a mathematical equation. We as human beings are not mathematical. We are not robots. We have all these emotions that come into play, and the emotions that we cannot manage and that we cannot have a handle on, those are the ones that are going to pull us off. So that's why we're talking about. So hang in there with me, because this is what it's going to lead. It all is going to come together. But if we don't have that, that's going to impact your commitment. If you don't have a belief in yourself, why, when things get tough, would you stay committed? Why? Why would you tell your brain not to tell you to eat the brownie? You wouldn't. If you don't believe in yourself and you don't love yourself, that's not going to happen. So that is why. That's why we're talking about this. So for many of you, the struggle and the lack of belief in yourself oftentimes comes because we've had past failures. And we think, oh my God, this is the 22nd diet that I've been on. And I just keep remembering, like, I've done this before. I've lost this weight before. How many of you, put in the comments, how many of you have lost weight and you have vowed, this is the last time I'm going to do this, and the weight's back on? I want you just to put regain in the comments. If that is you, if you are a person who has you vowed, you really thought like, this is it, I've got this, I am not going to do this again, and the weight came back on, put regain in the comments. Because that, and again, it's not that you did anything wrong. It's that you just didn't know the direction. You didn't know what to look for. You didn't know that this was so important. But that belief in ourselves, we got to have that. We've got to have that. So how do you start believing in yourself? How do you start believing that you can actually do this? Because most of the time, when I talk to people, there is always a degree of, I have done this before, I am so tired of this, and I'm really, frankly, hesitant to do it again because I just don't have the energy for another failure. And I get that. I totally get that. But what I want you to remember is, and this is what I want you, this is one of my things. I'm going to give you 4 things that you can do to start believing in yourself. 4 things that you can do to start believing in yourself. Number 1, and I want everybody to do this right now, and you can write it down or you can just think it in your head. I want everybody to think about 2 goals that you have set for yourself at any point in your life. 2 goals that you set for yourself at any point in your life that you achieved. Could be graduating college, could be graduating high school, could be getting married, could be raising amazing kids, could be getting a job, it could be buying a car, could be any of those things. What are 2 goals that you have achieved, that you set and you achieved them? Okay, so everybody think about that. What are 2 goals? And just think about them. Think about those goals. And I would love in the comments for you to write down and just comment one of the goals. Just put down what one of your goals was. What's one of your goals that you achieved? What's one of your goals that you achieved? Worked at Disney. Absolutely, Kathy. That's amazing. I forgot that you did that. Kathy worked at Walt Disney. And she's a certified yoga teacher. That's amazing. So what's one goal? What's one goal? Okay, what's one goal? And just throw it in the comments. What's one goal that you've achieved? And I want you to have them in the comments because I want you to see. Oh, I saw quit smoking. Quit smoking and drinking. Jane, you're a rock star. Bought a house, 47 years of marriage, became an RN, became a counselor, retired, became a teacher. Oh my God. I don't even think about my teaching. My God, traveled, lost 60 pounds, was a triathlete. I mean, it's like amazing. Oh my gosh, that is just fabulous. So many amazing things. Now, as you are looking at that, and you're looking at what you've achieved, how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel? So for everyone who wrote something down, I want you to put, as you're looking at what you did, what's the emotion that you feel? What's the emotion you feel? Put it in the comments. What's the emotion that you feel as you are thinking about or looking at, I did that. I did that. Put your emotion down. What's the emotion that you're feeling? Proud. Great. Pride. Absolutely. Graduated college as a mom. Awesome. Yep. Amazing. Proud. 100%. I hope also that you feel belief. That you've done whatever that was that you wrote down, and there is nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't do. You've achieved those things. You should be proud. You should be proud, and you should be proud every single day. But do we do that? Do we think back and remind ourselves of how amazing we are? No. That's what you need to start doing. Every single day is reminding yourself of what you've achieved, how far you've come, what you've done in the past, because what you've done in the past is building your confidence and allowing you to feel like, I absolutely can do this. 100%. I can actually absolutely do this. So that is so that's how you start believing in yourself in all areas of your life, by looking at what you've achieved. What have you done? Let's not think about what you haven't done. Let's look at what you have done. And if you've done one thing, there is no reason that you can't do something else. Period. The only person who can tell you that is you. So that's the first thing. The second thing that you need to start doing is you need to every day, and I'm going to tell you this, and ladies who work with me know, all my clients know, any of my clients who are on here, any of my past clients who are on here know. Every day I ask 3 things that you love about yourself. 3 things. And I will tell you, it is probably the hardest thing for most people to do, is to come up every day with 3 things they love about themselves. They can be physical, they can be characteristics, they can be traits, whatever. But people, we do not blow smoke up our own rear ends often enough, and we all need to start doing it. I think I want to make that into a t-shirt. We all need to start building ourselves up. So 3 things you love about yourself. That's what you need to be either thinking or writing down, saying to yourself, 3 things you love about yourself. Third thing, you need to be grateful for what you already have. There is a day should not go by that you don't have gratitude for what you have in your life right now. Not for what you're going to get, but what you have right now. Because all of us, every day have a blessing. And that blessing is we wake up and we're alive and we're breathing, and we need to remember that. But we have so many things that we forget because life gets hard. So believing in yourself and gratitude and reminding yourself of all the blessings you have. And it could be as simple as waking up in the morning and smelling your sheets and going, oh my gosh, the sheets smell good. Woo, these are great. Or driving to the store and getting a front parking spot. You know what? That's half the time things I write down is like, I'm like, oh my gosh, that person like let me cut into, that person let me in on traffic, or whatever. We have to be grateful for everything, because the more gratitude we put out and the more grateful we are, the more those good things come back to us. And lastly, fourth thing is affirmations. We have to start affirming and building ourselves up by saying, by really dialing in on our self-talk and building ourselves up instead of tearing ourselves down. If you remember, day 1, I sent out in the email that I sent to everybody, had my creating affirmations worksheet, work guide, guidebook. You need that. If you haven't done affirmations, if you haven't done them yet, you need to get to doing them. And you need to have some affirmations that you say every single day. I have it sitting right here. I'm just going to show you guys. Oh, where is it? Here's mine from today. I have some notes here on top, but here's mine for today. My affirmations are right there. And then I have, those are my gratitude and those are my affirmations. And I do this every morning. It's the first thing I do when I wake up. I don't open my computer, turn the light on, grab my book, and I start writing what I'm grateful for and my affirmations. And I usually write out a prayer too. So those are the things. So those 4 things. That is what we need, and we need consistency. It's not, I'll do it once a week. No. If you are serious about changing your life and achieving the goal that you want, and in this instance, we're talking about weight loss. We're talking about weight loss that's going to be permanent and that's going to be achievable and that we're going to be able to live with and feel amazing. It's consistency every single day. And that's consistency and a commitment to you, what you need to do to commit to yourself. That's what we have to have, that commitment. All right, questions. Anyone have a question about affirmations, about, gratitude, any of those things? And again, you can make it look like whatever you want it to look like. And you always can. You can make your gratitude. You can make your just love for yourself. Make it whatever it needs to look like for you. I love writing. Having been a resource specialist and having been a teacher, I know the power of words. I know the power of writing things out. It kind of imprints it on your brain. That's really powerful. That's what we need to be doing. That's what we need to be doing every day. And know that it's just not a flash in the pan. It's not just, when things get really bad, I'll do it. No, we need to do it all the time, because that's what builds our life up and makes our life even better. All right. I'm just going to... And again, being grateful brings more good things into your life. All right. So if we don't have any more questions... Oh, Jane, you got to get creative. You got to figure out what all the things. And again, it could be how you treat people. It could be you're grateful, what you love about yourself, that you're kind to people, that you said something nice, oh, hi there, princess. So that, all of those things, there's always things that we can find that we love about ourselves, how we treat ourselves and treat others. All right, last section number 4. Section number 4 is, where do we go from here? So, we've learned a lot about thoughts, learned a lot about feelings, learned a lot about our beliefs in ourselves, learned a lot about how we can, practically, from a day-to-day, standpoint, eating the foods we love, how we can, watch ourselves, monitor ourselves when it comes to, eating, only eating when we're hungry, eating till satisfied, all of those good things. So how do we put all of these things together? And so as all of you know, there are, and actually I wouldn't say all of you, you might not know. If you are new or if you are not a member of my group, you might not know that I have plenty of free resources in the group. I actually have a course. I have a course that I give for free to anybody in the group that has all of these resources, has all of the, a lot of information about doing these things, about taking these things and putting them into action. And I am absolutely happy to share those things with anybody. So if you are someone who you're like, wait, free resources, sign up, I don't know anything about that. In the comments, I want you just to put resources. If you have not signed up to get access to the free resources in the group. Now, if you are a client of mine, you already have resources. You already have these resources, so you don't necessarily need to sign up. But if you're not a client of mine, and there's so many things, and there's so many things that I want to offer and that I want to be able to give to people. And so those are available. So again, in the comments, just put resources, and you can have all of those things. If you aren't aware, in the group, there are worksheets, there are daily planners, there are places where you can write down all of your gratitude and all the things you love about yourself, and even a few extra things that can really help. But getting that free resources link and getting that course and being able to look at all of those things, that's huge. So if that's news to you and you're like, I didn't get to be a part of that, just put resources in the comments, and I will absolutely get that to you. Okay, so that's the first step. The first step is there's lots of free resources and lots of ways of putting all of these things together. What I will tell you is, if you try to do everything all at once, the what do I want to call it? The monster of overwhelm will take over. So really, what you want to do is you want to look at what's one thing that I can look at, that I can decide that's what my focus is going to be for this week. That's the focus for this next, the next 4 days. I'm going to focus on my negative self-talk. I'm going to try and catch myself. And when those thoughts come into my head that my brain tells me, and they're always so mean, I'm going to go, it's so not true anymore. We don't think like that. That's what I want you to do. I want you to take and think, what's one area that I want to focus on? What's one area that I want to focus on? Maybe the area that I want to focus on is letting others have their thoughts and not letting them impact you. Maybe you really are very, very controlled and influenced by people around you. And maybe you want to just say, you know what? When those thoughts come into my head of like, well, what do they think? Nope, I don't care what they think. I only care about what I think. My thoughts are the only ones that matter. My thoughts are most important, and I don't let other people dictate how I feel about myself. Maybe that's what you want to work on. Maybe you want to work on what's my responsibility and what's other people's responsibilities. And maybe I don't need to be doing everybody's stuff. Maybe I just need to focus on me. Or maybe you want to focus on, I want to really watch how I eat, and I want to slow down, and I want to try and walk away from the dinner table and not feel like I need to take a nap. Maybe that's what you need to focus on. But just pick one thing. Because when we try to go in and it's like, oh my gosh, I want to do all these things and I want to do all these things differently. Remember, if you haven't been doing these things for the last 40 years, trying to do all of them at once is going to be completely overwhelming. So you just got to pick one thing. Just one. Just pick one thing, work on that, get good at that, and then say, okay, I got this down. Now I'm going to add something else. Maybe we don't need to do all the gratitude. Maybe we don't need to do gratitude and affirmations and believing in yourself. Maybe we just need to do gratitude first. Maybe that's it. The 3 things I love about myself, that sounds kind of scary. Let me just dial in gratitude first. And then maybe I'll add on, eating dissatisfied. And maybe I'll work on that. And maybe I will work on that for like 3 months. And maybe that's going to take a really long time. And maybe I'm going to get really good. And then I'm not going to be so good. And that's okay. It's all okay. But whatever it is, you need to start. And you need to start by picking one thing. Okay? Just one. Because we don't want to get overwhelmed. We don't want to have there be that massive, like, oh, I can't do anything. We have to just allow ourselves to be able to pick one thing and get good at it. Okay? So that's first thing. We need to make sure that we are really dialing in on making ourselves feel like we have some control of what's going on, that we get to decide how we want to do this. Okay? So that's your first step. So, and I'm going to say, and we've got people on this call. We have plenty of people in the group who have listened and who have watched my podcast, listen to my podcast, watch the videos, participate in the group, take advantage of all the free resources, and they have been able to take this information and they've been able to use it and feel really, really confident and are losing weight and doing what they need to be doing. And that is awesome. But there are also, and that is awesome for some people. But I do understand and I do know that there are absolutely, and for me this was what I needed to have the accountability of knowing that I had to answer to myself more than anything else, and I also had to answer to somebody else. And so and I don't tell this story very often, but one of the things when I did, so something else, when about 3 years ago, a little more than 3 years ago, I made the decision that I was going to write a book, and I was going to write a book about emotional eating. And I had no idea how to write a book. None, no idea. Absolutely not. Nothing. Do nothing. But I knew that I needed to do it. I knew there was a book inside me that I needed to write, and I needed to share my story. And so I signed on with a company, and I'm not going to tell you how much money I paid, but I paid what I considered a very large amount of money to be able to be guided through the process of how do you write a book, what do you do, all the steps, how do you market it, how do you put it up on Amazon, how do you do all the things, who designs your cover, who does the back cover, who puts the book together, all those things. I knew nothing. So I paid this company, and their promise was that I could have a book published in 90 days. It's like, 90 days? Are you kidding? It's 3 months. Are you kidding me? Well, I did it, and I published a book in 114 days. And I am perfectly happy that I did not publish my book in 90 days, but it took me 114 days. But the fact of the matter was, I had to invest in myself. I had to tell myself, I had to hold my feet to the fire and be like, you need to answer to your my little writing coach, who I would meet with oh my gosh, he was so cute. His name was Gary, and I would meet with him, every week, and I would tell him what I had done, and it made me do it. It made me follow through, because there's no way I would have been able to do it on my own. No way. And I knew that about myself. And that's why I did it. And so for many people like myself, they need that. They need to know that, one, I have to answer to myself, but I also have to answer to somebody else. And I've also got some skin in the game. And I want to make this work, and I know that I need to make that happen. And I do, in this whole process, I offer that as well. Is that for everybody? Absolutely not. But if it is, if you feel like you've gotten to the point, like I know myself well enough that if I pay for something, I am absolutely gonna get my money's worth, 100%. And if you know that you're like me, and that's something that you feel like, you know what, I've tried this so many times that I just like, I don't know if I can do this on my own. That's when we need to connect. You need to find out what is it that you could do, because there's a lot of levels of things that I provide. Is it for everybody? Absolutely not. 100%, it is not, and I am totally okay with that. But I also know that I have taken myself through this process, and I know where I was, and I know where I am, and I want you all where I am. Am I at the end, though? Oh, heck no. Do I have my own coach right now? Heck yeah. I do. I just saw my coach 2.5 hours ago. I see her every Thursday. I get coached every week, because I need help. I need to remind myself of these things. I need to be making sure that I'm staying true to my path of what I want to achieve in my life. And so, yes, I do the same thing. So if you feel like, and there are, like I say, there are a variety of things that I offer, And so if that is, there is, again, I don't want to go into details about that because I don't want that to be, this to be about that, but I do want to let people know that if that is something that you have an interest in knowing more about, that is something that I would love to be able to share with people. But again, if you feel like you can handle it on your own, go for it. And if you try it on your own and you're like, I don't know, just know that the help is always there. Because I, for the majority of my life, didn't think anybody understood what I was going through. Didn't understand it at all. And I felt so alone and so isolated and so by myself and so much like a failure. And I don't want anyone to go through what I went through and feel as alienated and feel as much disappointment as I felt about myself on a regular basis. And that's why I do what I do, because I don't want that for any of you. And so know that if you are down with doing it on your own, I am right there with you and I'm your biggest cheerleader. But if you feel like you need some help, that's when we need to talk. So I would want for anyone who's watching this, if you're watching it on replay, if you're watching it live, it don't matter. Just put, simple as this, just put the word help in the comments. That's it, the word help. And all I want to do is I can send you information, we can have a chat. There is no, again, I am here to help people. And for everybody has their different levels, everybody has a different place, everybody needs something different. And I'm here to, and I will promise you also that if I can't help you, I have a slew of people that I know. Kathy Perez, who's amazing, she was amazing in this group. Kathy Perez, who is also a coach, I will absolutely refer people to her, to any number of coaches that I know, that I am very, very well connected in the coaching industry, and I will connect you with somebody who will help you, because I just want people to be able to be happy, to be able to live the lives that they want. And so I provide a very specific help for people, but I'm not for everybody. Can you imagine? But so just know that I am here and I will direct you to the help that you need. But I want people to be able to feel like they are not alone and that they have a place that they can turn to. So again, resources in the comments. If you want the free resources, if you want that link, you put resources in the comments. If you want to just know more about what help looks like, that's a little bit more than just you doing it on your own, put help in the comments and I will reach out to you. Okay? And again, please know that it is always from the place that I just don't want people to have to deal with as much as I dealt with for as long as I dealt with it. My life is so much better now. Is it perfect? Hardly, and I don't want it because that's boring. Perfection is boring. And we want to always be growing and always be learning and always be getting better. So, with that, thank you so much for spending these last 3 days with me, letting me ramble on and on about all these things. And I hope that I have given you a different viewpoint, a different look at what weight loss looks like and what successful weight loss can look like, and that there is always hope. There is always a way. There's a way that's different from what you've been doing. And I want to be able to help you put all of these pieces together and be able to get to wherever you want to be in your lives. So I hope that this was helpful. Hope it was valuable. Hope it was productive. I hope you didn't waste any time here. I know that I absolutely enjoy doing this. It brought me back to my teaching days. For those of you who don't know, I was a teacher for 17 years and I loved teaching and I loved being able to to work with individuals. Mine happened to be middle schoolers. And I love them. But yeah, so thank you for letting me do this and thank you for joining me and being a part of this with me. The replay will be sent out. I will do like I did yesterday, which is I will put all three videos in the email that I send out. It'll be out tonight. I do have to go teach a class soon, so I will be going to do that. But I will be sending out that email, And who knows, there might be a little special bonus in there too. So I will be sending a little special bonus to all of you who have been on and who have just been amazing. So thank you so much. I so appreciate it. I appreciate you being here, spending your time. I know time is really valuable, and I respect that. And I hope that I was able to provide you with some information that you might not have known about. Okay, all right, everyone. Have a wonderful. Okay, can I just tell you all? I just have to say this. When my voice changes and I start saying certain things, Jackson like sits up. It's like he knows, he can tell when I'm either wrapping up a call. If I'm on a call with a client, he can tell when I wrap up the call. He was totally out of sleep, and so I said, okay, so and all of a sudden he sits up because he is thinking, oh, she's ready, and we get to go for a WALK. Little does he know. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your, yes, good luck to Jackson. He's going to do fabulous tomorrow, and Mommy's going to do fabulous too. All right, take care, y'all. Thank you so much.